I was just thinking, I just saw Greenberg, the movie. I thought about making this a review of that, but I don't know. I don't know if I feel like doing that. I don't know why I'm thinking about this now, but it struck me how boring people are. Everyone is just completely uninterested in anything besides getting drunk, doing drugs, having sex, um, talking about the same boring shit every night, going to see the same crappy movies night after night, um, horrible horror movies that somehow get a budget. I know how they get a budget. It's because fucking idiots go and see them and spend their money on these shitty ass movies, and that never should be produced. Meanwhile, I have to wait for Greenberg to come to theater for like 2 weeks, to come to one even remotely close to my area, and I mean they're better independent movies that I know that aren't coming here. If this hadn't had Ben Stiller in it, I don't think it would have even come in within an hour of me. I probably won't even put this up, but because what happens is I go back and edit my videos and I realize how annoying I am in them. Like the one I just did about the intellectual biography, I'm like, I think I'm so inarticulate and I stutter. I'm stuttering now, or I don't stutter, but I say and 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 I'm thinking I'm thinking and it's just I get so annoyed with myself that I almost don't post videos, and I have quit videos that I thought I was ruining with the way I speak, um but anyway, it's just like I always think when I see people who are just spending their whole life just drinking, having sex, if they're women, being turning themselves into sex objects by just pretending that they're perpetually interested in doing anybody and everybody, even when they hate it or they feel emotionally unfulfilled. And men too. I think that men feel some pressure to bag as many chicks as possible. That's a horrible phrase. Now that I think about it, I mean, I just hadn't noticed the whole idea of bagging chicks. It's almost like a psychopathic phrase that you're going to bag chicks. You're going to get some bodies in your bag of people that you've penetrated. Um, but when I see these people, I think, don't you want to be more than just another monkey? Just more than a person who just has done what every human has done since the beginning of time. I mean, we've had drugs for a long, long time, and I know there's a book by Terence McKenna about, I haven't read it, but about how we might have co-evolved with drugs, and it might be kind of, we might have some sort of um, genetic tendency to do drugs. I know that drugs kind of take advantage of natural reward systems that are supposed to be used for sex or food or things that keep us alive, but I haven't read his book, so I don't know what his argument is. But I mean, I just think, don't you want to learn things? Can you do you realize how fascinating and miraculous, really miraculous, it is that we're alive? That there's that molecules self-assembled into an organism like me and gave me consciousness, probably. I say probably in case dualism somehow ends up being true. Um, I, I mean, and no one's interested. No one cares that we're this miraculously improbable thing. That was a bad sentence. But we're it's just amazing that we even exist. I can't. It's amazing that I'm seeing and I'm speaking and I'm making maybe not as logical. I'm making logical statements, maybe not as logical as I'd like them to be, but or coherent. But I mean, and no one cares. No one wants to study the fact that we've study how language is developed, or study how societies developed, or how hunter-gatherer societies turn into agricultural societies, or what the real foundations of knowledge are, or ethics, or I mean, there's just so much to learn about the world, and no one gives a shit. Everyone just walks around being a bunch of fucking monkeys their entire life, just drinking and talking about stupid shit and seeing the same stupid shitty movies over and over again and watching the same shitty sitcoms, just the same shitty jokes over and over again. And I'm just I know this is a complete rant and probably not what my subscribers are expecting me to be producing, but it's just so frustrating to me, and I know that I live in a particularly dead part of the world, I feel like, and I know that there are people who are intellectual and are interested. I think I almost define intellectual as just being interested in the world around them enough to read about it. But people who are just interested enough in the world to look into things, I know that those people exist outside of my little, not microcosm, maybe macrocosm here in Colorado, maybe here in the Midwest. I mean, maybe the coasts are a little better. I don't know about California because there's a lot of bimbos apparently there. See, that's the impression that you get from television, which always reports things accurately. Um, but I've gotten really frustrated with it, with living here. So that's my rant. I'm sorry to inflict that on you if I do indeed upload this. Um, Thank you for bearing with me.